The breach. The U.S. horizon hung against the backdrop of deep space, its sleek, quantum-reinforced hull gleaming in the light of distant stars. Unlike the bulky generation ships of the past century, the horizon represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity, a vessel designed not merely to endure the void between stars, but to bend reality itself. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the phenomenon that dominated the viewscreen. The veil, as it had been dubbed in scientific circles, stretched across space like an aurora of impossible proportions, a shimmering curtain of energy that had contained humanity within their corner of the galaxy for 3 centuries. "Final systems check complete, Captain," announced Commander Tariq Nassar, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Quantum drive stable at 98% capacity." Elena nodded without turning. After 15 years of commanding deep space vessels, she had developed an instinct for the rhythm of her crew. The tension on the bridge was palpable, excitement mingled with fear, determination shadowed by doubt. This mission represented humanity's 9th attempt to breach the veil. The previous 8 ships had either been destroyed or returned with systems fried, and crews traumatized, unable to articulate what they had encountered. "Dr. Chen, status report on the resonance field," Elena called to the quantum physicist who had been the architect of this mission. Amin Chen looked up from his station, his youthful face belying the genius that had revolutionized humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics. "The harmonic oscillators are synchronized, Captain. If my theory is correct, we won't be attempting to break through the veil. We'll be asking permission to enter." Elena allowed herself a small smile. Chen's approach had been ridiculed when first proposed. The idea that the veil wasn't a natural phenomenon but a construct, a border established by an intelligence far beyond human comprehension. His resonance technology wasn't designed to force a passage but to communicate intention. "Lieutenant Kim, broadcast our final status update to Earth Command," Elena ordered. "Let them know we're proceeding with the approach." "Aye, Captain." "Though the response will take 3 days at this distance," replied the communications officer. "By then, we'll either have groundbreaking news or none of us will be around to care," muttered Dr. Fatima Okafor, the ship's exobiologist. Though spoken under her breath, her words carried in the silence of the bridge. "Thank you for that assessment, Doctor," Elena replied dryly. "All hands, secure for veil approach. This is what we've trained for." As the crew prepared, Elena reflected on what had brought them to this moment. Earth and its colonies were struggling. Despite the technological leaps of the past 2 centuries, humanity's expansion had been artificially constrained by the appearance of the veil 70 years after the development of faster-than-light travel. Resources were dwindling. Population pressures were mounting. The generation-long terraforming projects couldn't keep pace. Humanity needed to expand beyond the veil or face a slow decline. "Approaching critical threshold in 60 seconds, announced the ship's AI, its voice calibrated to sound reassuring despite delivering what might be a death sentence. Elena activated the shipwide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. In 1 minute, we will attempt what 8 ships before us could not accomplish. I won't lie to you. We don't know what awaits us. But I do know this. Every calculation has been triple-checked, every system pushed beyond conventional limits. If any ship can succeed, it's the horizon. It's us." She paused, feeling the weight of 300 lives aboard ship and 15 billion back home. "Whatever happens, remember that we carry the hopes of our species. Horizon out." Dr. Chen's hands moved with practiced precision across his controls. "Initiating quantum resonance field," he announced. "Field stabilizing at 94%, 97%, holding at 99.3. "That's our ceiling, Captain." Elena nodded. "It'll have to be enough. Proceed with approach vector." The ship hummed with energy as the quantum resonance field enveloped it. Unlike conventional shields, this field was adaptive, responsive, almost alive. It was designed to communicate with the veil on its own terms, speaking its language of quantum states and probability waves. "Veil contact in 10 seconds," announced the AI. The bridge crew held their collective breath. 5. Elena gripped her command chair. 4. Chen's fingers hovered over emergency protocols. 3. The ship's quantum field began to sing, a harmonic resonance that wasn't sound but something deeper. 2. Reality itself seemed to stretch around them. 1. The horizon touched the veil. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to fracture. Colors that shouldn't exist flooded the bridge. Time became elastic. Elena felt herself simultaneously compressed into a single point and expanded across light years. Warning klaxons blared, then fell silent. The ship's systems flickered, rebooted, flickered again. Then stillness, a perfect, impossible quiet. Status report, Elena managed to say, her voice sounding strange in her own ears. All systems functional, reported Chief Engineer Yoshida, sounding surprised. Hull integrity at 100%. Quantum resonance field holding steady at, wait, that can't be right. What is it, Chief? The field strength, Captain. It's at 157% and climbing. That's beyond theoretical limits. Elena turned to Chen, whose eyes were wide with wonder as he studied his displays. It's the veil, he whispered. It's not fighting us. It's enhancing us, communicating with us. The ship's primary display changed without input from the crew. Complex equations scrolled across it, mathematical expressions that shifted and evolved with a purpose that seemed almost sentient. Is that code? Asked Lieutenant Kim. Not exactly, Chen replied, transfixed. It's pure mathematics, but with intent. Captain, I think something is trying to communicate. The A's voice returned, sounding different somehow. More resonant, older. Unknown data stream detected. Multiple translation protocols initiated. Warning. External influence detected in ship systems. Should I initiate emergency disconnect? Yoshida asked, hand hovering over the quarantine protocols. Elena hesitated, studying the patterns on the screen. There was something about them. Something that didn't feel threatening. No. Let's see where this goes. Dr. Chen, can you make any sense of it? The physicist was already deep in analysis. It's responding to our quantum field. Every adjustment we make gets a response. It's like it's learning our language while teaching us its own. The mathematics on the screen began to organize itself, transforming into structures that resembled language, but unlike any human tongue. Symbols flowed and merged, separated and recombined. It's beautiful, whispered Dr. Okafor. And impossibly advanced, added Chen. This makes our most complex theories look like kindergarten arithmetic. As the crew watched, the alien mathematics slowly began to form patterns they could recognize. Simple geometric shapes, then more complex structures. The ship's eye was learning, adapting, beginning to form a translation framework. Captain, the AI announced, I believe I can establish rudimentary communication based on shared mathematical principles. Elena straightened her uniform. First contact protocols had been established centuries ago, but never for a situation quite like this. Proceed. The AI sent a simple sequence, the first few prime numbers, a universal mathematical concept. The response came instantly. The complete sequence of primes to numbers humans had never calculated before, then variations that suggested alternate mathematical frameworks entirely. It's not just responding, Chen said excitedly. It's expanding, teaching. This isn't just communication. It's education. Hours passed as the exchange continued. The AI and Dr. Chen worked together, gradually building a primitive lexicon. The entity, whatever it was, seemed infinitely patient, correcting their attempts, guiding them toward understanding. Then came the breakthrough. Captain, the AI said, I believe I can now translate a basic message from the entity. Elena nodded, her throat dry. Let's hear it. The bridge speakers came alive with a voice that wasn't quite a voice, mathematical in its precision, but with an unmistakable sentience behind it. You, different, interesting. Most, use, force, use, harmony. Elena looked to her crew, then straightened her shoulders. We should respond. Suggestions. The truth, said Chen simply. Tell it exactly why we're here and how we approach the veil. Elena nodded. AI, transmit the following. We seek passage, not conquest. We recognize the veil as a communication, not an obstacle. We wish to learn and expand, not to destroy. The response came faster this time. Many, species, reach, barrier. Few, understand, its purpose. Fewer, still, approach. With respect. You are unusual. The crew exchanged glances. Whatever this entity was, it had encountered other civilizations before, many others, judging by its statement. What is the veil's purpose? Elena asked. A pause, longer this time then. Protikichan, AC estimate. Evolution. The barrier. Tastes. Worthiness. Worthiness for what? Asked Elena. For what? Lies. Beyond. For knowledge. For community. Among stars. The implications were staggering. The veil wasn't a natural phenomenon, but an artificial construct, a test designed by some unimaginably advanced civilization to evaluate emerging species. The test begins now. The ship shuddered as energy coursed through it. The quantum resonance field flared to new heights, interfacing with the veil in ways their instruments could barely measure. Captain, Yoshida called out. Something's happening to our systems. Before their eyes, the ship's displays transformed. Ship schematics rewrote themselves. Theoretical models they'd been working on for years suddenly completed themselves. Knowledge flooded into the Horizon's databases, but not freely given. Each piece came as a puzzle, a challenge. It's testing our comprehension, Chen realized. Not just giving us answers, but seeing if we can understand them. The entity's voice returned. You will be tested. Your espiones will determine your passage. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What happens if we fail? The answer was simple and terrifying. Those who fail are returned to contemplate their limitations. Those who fail with aggression do not return at all. As the implications sank in, the ship's sensors detected massive energy fluctuations within the veil. The horizon began to move, drawn deeper into the veil structure, not passing through but entering it. Captain, the AI reported, we appear to be entering a space that exists within the veil itself. Dimensional readings indicate a pocket of space-time, separate from normal space. Through the viewports, they could see what looked like a vast network, glowing filaments connecting bright nodes that stretched beyond vision. It resembled nothing so much as a cosmic neural network. My God, breathed Chen. It's not just a barrier. It's a mind. The entity's next communication confirmed their suspicion. I am Guardian. I am Test. I am the bridge between GLXIs and now humans. Show who you are. As the horizon was drawn deeper into this impossible space, Elena knew they had reached a moment of profound importance for humanity. This wasn't just about crossing a barrier. It was about proving humanity's worthiness to join something greater than themselves. The test had begun. The trial. The U.S. horizon hung suspended in a realm that defied human understanding, a space that existed both within and beyond the galactic veil. Surrounding them was a vast, pulsing network of light and energy that the crew had come to understand was not merely a structure, but a consciousness. Ancient, patient, unfathomably intelligent. All systems are stabilizing, reported Chief Engineer Yoshida, though her voice betrayed her awe. The ship is adapting somehow. Our quantum resonance field has fully integrated with the Veil's energy matrix. Dr. Chen stared at his displays in wonder. It's not just integrating, it's evolving. The Veil is rewriting our field equations, teaching our systems how to exist in this space. Captain Rice studied the swirling patterns of light outside the viewports. How long have we been here? That's difficult to answer, Captain, replied the ship's eye. Our chronometers indicate 17 hours have passed since Veil contact, but quantum fluctuations suggest temporal distortion. Time may be flowing differently here. Elena nodded, unsurprised. Nothing about this encounter had followed predictable patterns. Ninyudu, visitors, require, context, came the entity's voice, more fluid now as the translation algorithms improved. Observe. The main view screen flared to life, showing what appeared to be historical recordings, but from perspectives impossible for humans to have witnessed. They saw the birth of stars, the collision of galaxies, the slow dance of cosmic evolution. Then, emerging from this primordial story, came signs of intelligence. Civilizations rising on distant worlds, developing technologies, reaching outward. My God, whispered Dr. Okafor. It's showing us the history of intelligent life in the galaxy. The images accelerated. Dozens, then hundreds of species achieved spaceflight. Some encountered others. Conflicts erupted. Alliances formed. Technologies advanced exponentially. And then something unexpected. A catastrophe on a galactic scale. Energy weapons of unimaginable power. Entire star systems reduced to radiation and dust. The Great Collapse, the entity explained. Wage in. Knowledge. Exceeded. Wisdom. The surviving species, humbled by devastation, came together. They constructed a network of veils, barriers not to isolate, but to protect developing civilizations from themselves and from exploitation by others. Each barrier was maintained by a guardian. An artificial consciousness evolved beyond organic limitations. Dhe, Tuov and of worlds, decreed that no species shall pass beyond their veil until they demonstrate readiness. Readiness for what? Elena asked. For communion, for responsibility, for power, without destruction. The screen shifted to show 8 human vessels, the previous attempts to breach the veil. 7 had attacked the barrier with weapons or tried to force passage through brute technological power. They were repelled, sometimes gently, sometimes with devastating consequences. Only 1 had attempted communication, but its technology had been insufficient to maintain the connection. You are the Nyanthai. You, Sogji, harmony. Now, you must prove worthiness. The lights on the bridge dimmed, then brightened as power surged through the ship's systems. The first trial begins. The view screen shifted again, showing Earth and its colonies, but something was wrong. Massive geological disturbances, climate systems in chaos. A simulation, Elena realized with dread, of a civilization-threatening catastrophe. You possess knowledge that from our exchange, the Guardian explained, a people, it, too, save your people. Dr. Chen was already at work, analyzing the new information that had been integrated into their databases. It's given us advanced theoretical models for manipulating quantum fields on a planetary scale, he said, fingers flying across his console. But they're incomplete. I think we're meant to fill in the gaps ourselves. For hours, the crew worked frantically, applying their collective expertise to the scenario. Scientists and engineers collaborated, testing solutions against the Guardian's sophisticated simulation. 3 attempts failed catastrophically. The fourth stabilized the crisis temporarily, but would have led to worse consequences within a decade. On the 5th attempt, combining Chen's quantum theories with adaptations suggested by Dr. Okafor, based on biological systems, they succeeded. Acceptable, the Guardian pronounced. You, value, collective, wisdom, you, adapt. The second trial awaits. The next test was ethical rather than technical. The view screen showed a detailed simulation of first contact with a pre-spaceflight civilization. The inhabitants of this world possessed technology roughly equivalent to Earth's 21st century, but had developed along radically different biological and cultural lines. Guide. Their development. DDT Ramainen. Their readiness. 4. Galactic communion. This trial proved even more challenging. The crew debated intervention strategies, non-interference principles, the ethics of accelerating technological development. Commander Nassar advocated for direct contact and guidance. Lieutenant Kim argued passionately for observation only, allowing the species to develop at its own pace. In the end, they chose a middle path, establishing limited contact through carefully selected representatives, sharing medical and environmental knowledge while withholding technologies that could be weaponized. Your approach is measured, the Guardian acknowledged. Neither conquest nor abandonment, the final trial commences. The third challenge struck at the heart of human nature. The view screen displayed a region of space beyond the veil, rich with habitable worlds, abundant resources, advanced civilizations willing to share knowledge. Everything humanity desperately needed. Then the view shifted, showing a different path, a region within humanity's current boundaries that contained previously undiscovered resources, enough to sustain Earth and its colonies for centuries. But accessing these resources would require tremendous sacrifice and cooperation among all human factions. Choose, said the Guardian. Passage beyond the veil, or return to solve your challenges. Within, silence fell across the bridge. The easy answer, the one every crew member instinctively wanted, was to choose passage. It represented everything they had come for: expansion, new knowledge, salvation for a resource-starved civilization. But Elena sensed a deeper test beneath the surface. If we choose passage, she said slowly, we gain everything we came for. But we also abandon the challenge of solving our problems ourselves. We take the easier path. Isn't that the rational choice? Asked Yoshida. Our mission was to find new resources, new worlds for humanity. Our mission was to secure humanity's future, Elena countered. The question is whether that future is better served by an external solution or by forcing ourselves to evolve, to become better stewards of what we already have. The debate raged for hours. Data was analyzed, projections calculated, philosophical arguments dissected. The crew split almost evenly between the two options. In the end, the decision fell to Elena. She stood, facing the view screen where the two paths were displayed side by side. Guardian, she said, we choose neither option as presented. A murmur ran through the bridge crew. We request passage beyond the veil, but not for colonization or resource extraction. We wish to learn from other civilizations, to establish diplomatic and cultural exchange, while simultaneously developing the undiscovered resources within our region. We reject the premise that these must be mutually exclusive paths. For long moments, there was no response. The swirling energies of the veiled space seemed to intensify, patterns shifting more rapidly. Then, unexpected, interesting, Huistian, the parameters of the test itself. The test presented a false dichotomy, Alina explained. It assumed we must either rely entirely on ourselves or entirely on others. But true advancement comes from cooperation while maintaining self-determination. We wish to join the galactic community as contributors, not supplicants. Another long pause then. In 973, attemptees across all species, only C-17 HAV made similar observation. The energies surrounding the ship began to coalesce, forming what appeared to be a passage, a tunnel of stable space-time leading beyond the veil. Provides Ion Hail. Passage. Granted. Limited. Exchange. Permitted. Full. Integration. Must. Be. EARNT. Through. Demonstrated. Action. Relief swept through the bridge crew, quickly replaced by a dawning awareness of what they had achieved. They would return to Earth not just with news of breaking the veil barrier, but with the beginning of humanity's entry into a wider cosmic community. "Thank you, Guardian," Alina said, her voice steady despite the emotion behind it. "We will honor this opportunity. BF4, you, D. Heard, receive this gift, knowledge, to help your transition." The ship's database pinged as new information was transferred, not the overwhelming flood from before, but a carefully curated selection of scientific, cultural, and historical data. "This will help Earth prepare for what's coming," Dr. Chen said, scanning the incoming files. "It includes protocols for establishing formal contact with the Covenant of Worlds, detailed maps of the passage network, and basic information about the major civilizations we might encounter." 1. FIL. Truth, the Guardian said as the Horizon prepared to enter the passage. THEVEL. Wes. Nativir. Meant. To. Be. Permanent. It exists. To. Ensure. That. Those. Who pass. Are. Ready. For. The responsibility. Of. Greater. Knowledge. "And are we ready?" Alina asked. "You, have, taken the first step. The journey continues." The Horizon entered the passage, the swirling energies of the veil space giving way to normal spacetime. But on the other side of the barrier that had contained humanity for centuries, stars shone with unfamiliar patterns. In the distance, they could detect artificial signatures, evidence of advanced civilizations going about their business in this previously inaccessible region of space. "Set course for home," Alina ordered. "Maximum sustainable speed." "Captain," Kim questioned, "don't you want to explore while we're here?" Alina shook her head. "That wasn't the deal. We return first, share what we've learned, prepare Earth for this new chapter. Then we come back, properly this time, as representatives of all humanity, not just the crew of one ship." As the Horizon turned toward home, Alina recorded her captain's log. Ship's log, U.S. Horizon. After 3 centuries of containment, humanity has been granted provisional passage beyond the veil. We return bearing knowledge that will transform our civilization, not just technologically, but philosophically. The universe is larger, older, and more connected than we ever imagined. We are not alone, and we are not the first to walk this path. Today marks the end of humanity's isolation and the beginning of our true journey among the stars. The challenges ahead are immense, but for the first time in generations, our future is limited only by our wisdom, not our resources. The veil was never a prison. It was a test. And today, humanity passed. As the quantum drive engaged, propelling them back toward Earth at speeds that would have been impossible before their encounter with the Guardian, Elena gazed at the stars streaming past on the view screen. They looked the same as they always had, yet everything had changed. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe, and nothing would ever be the same again.